How you doing, and welcome back to Taekwondo, bro. Today we're going to do a video on some tactics you can use as a kicker. Someone who kicks a lot in sparring, someone whose best weapon is kicking. So we're talking martial arts, like differences of style here, right? So let's go over some of the pros and cons of kicking, and then I'll go into a couple tactics you can use to kind of maintain the advantage and keep the fight in kicking range, okay? So advantage one of kicks is that they hit really hard, okay? So your leg is a lot stronger and a lot heavier than your arms, and you're just going to be able to twist it, hit them even harder than you would be able to punch. I'm not saying punches are weak, I'm just saying kicks are usually stronger, unless you don't know how to kick and you're good at punching. If you know how to kick and you know how to punch, your kicks are probably still going to be harder than your punches. It's just usually facts. Some people, obviously, it's going to be a little different, but that's advantage one. Advantage two is the range. So you can kick someone from a farther distance than you can punch them. Now, it's not a lot of distance, but it makes a big difference in sparring. Just that 1 or 2 seconds that it would take you to close in, you could get kicked in that time. So it lets you attack from farther away. Now, again, kind of related to the power is that kicks can also push back a lot harder. And yeah, I would say you can push. So you usually wouldn't try to throw a punch where you push somebody, but you can throw what's called a thrust front kick or like a thrust side kick, where instead of going for that sharp push, with sharp impact, you just push them really hard. That's a good way to knock somebody back. Now, aside from this, and there's a couple other advantages, whatever you want, but the main disadvantage of kicking is that you can't do it at really close range without being vulnerable. And it also puts you off balance. So when you get too close to kick somebody, and you'll see this in the Taekwondo Olympic tournaments sometimes, they get clinched up and they get stuck there. Now that's only that way because they're not allowed to attack with other moves. But in reality, if you're that close to the opponent, they're just going to start punching you. They might start elbowing you. They might grab you. And from this range, you're not really going to be able to hit with a kick. Yeah, for the most part, unless you're doing some weird head crescent kick. And then that falls into the second point, which is that you're off balance when you're kicking. So because you have 1 foot in the air, you're going to be easier to knock over. So if I get kicked as I'm lifting my foot up to kick them, and they beat me to it, I might fall over because I have less leverage to stand on. I can also have my kick grabbed. So they grab my leg, it's pretty easy to sweep somebody down. If I grab someone's arm as they punch me somehow, I just grab onto it, it's still going to be a little harder to just sweep them down. I mean, you can still do it, but it's easier to fall over when you have 1 foot in the air and someone's like yanking you and shoving you across the place, so you gotta watch out for that. Now, this said, kicks are still good because I think as a smaller striker, especially a lot of people out here, in terms of striking, it lets you hit really hard just like someone who's bigger than you. And also makes up for any arm length disadvantages. So that's good. But you're going to have to worry about the distance, okay? So let's talk about a couple strategies you can use. And a lot of these just come with practice. So if you want to get good at fighting with kicks, just practice it. So technique number one is going to be what's called the blitz. You see this a lot in karate, where you'll be at a standoff range, right? A range where none of you can hit each other. You got to use your training to move in, attack with some kicks, and move out really quick. Now, this isn't as easy as it seems. The best way to get good at this is to practice bouncing on your toes, not bouncing up boing boing like a jump rope. You want to be a little shuffle, okay? And then you dash forward, you throw your techniques, and you have to be dashing out really quickly. What this does is it kind of infuriates your opponent because you're hitting them and then you're backing off to stand off, right? But now, you may ask, why not just get closer, okay? Here's tactic number 2. You have to counterattack. So when you see someone try to close in on you, especially someone who wants to fight you at close range, they're going to have to cover that distance. So the second you see them cover that distance, you might want to do a kick like I just did, like a rear leg front kick, or maybe a side kick. You want to hit them on the way in, okay? That's one way to stop somebody. So something like that side kick right there I just did. Good. Now that crescent kick and that roundhouse kick, not so good for stopping somebody, okay? So you want a side kick or a front kick usually, just because those have that forward momentum. So Now, let's look at your strategy. You're coming in and out to attack, and then you're counter-attacking when they try to get close to you, okay? That's good and all, throwing your side kicks, throwing your instant side kicks, so you stop them. But eventually they're going to get in. No one's perfect, right? So you're going to want to learn how to cut angles. So you're making space by cutting angles. So if someone's bum rushing towards me, I'm not just going to let them get up close to me, right? I will probably dash out on a 45-degree angle. So that's like a diagonal, right? A forward diagonal, and then I'm going to kick them. So what this lets me do is it lets me make a little bit of space as I'm moving, and it also gets me out of the way of their attacks, okay? So you usually want to do this towards the back. So instead of cutting across them to where they could, hug you, in front of their torso, you want to end up behind them because it's harder to block stuff back there, okay? But, you can go both ways. It's not, set in stone. So, yeah, cut space like that. Another way to deal with it is there's some specific kicks that are good at close range, right? Something like a back kick. It's a little bit different than a turning side kick, or maybe a jump turning side kick, maybe a headshot roundhouse kick. So something you can do at really close range, maybe even leg sweeps. So they get close to you, you sweep their legs out as they get up close, okay? So there's a couple kicks you can do close range, but for the most part, they still have a minimum range before you can't really do them anymore, okay? I think the back kick probably has the closest range of all these things. Now, eventually, you're going to get stuck, right? They're going to get in on you. You're going to be moving in and out. You're going to counterattack them. You're going to cut distance. You're going to use the close range kicks, but they're still going to get you. So, here's how you fix that. The best way to fix the close range problem with kicks is pretty simple. It's to get good at close range. Now, all these tactics are good to let you fight where you want to fight, which is long range because you want to kick. Now, this is a great way to, chip away at somebody, hit them with some strong kicks, but eventually you're just going to have to get in close on them, okay? So, what I would say, and people have been telling me this, I've been working on this, and also we used to train this at the dojo a little bit, is you need to follow into some combos, okay? So, instead of just sitting there and backing up and trying to kick, you have to launch your attacks quickly. So, for example, when I was sparring some people who were taller than me back at my Taekwondo school, sometimes I would be like, okay, they're going to rip me to shreds with kicks, so I'm just going to take a couple shots, get in, start punching. Now, I'm no, Muay Thai. I'm not throwing elbows and stuff. I'm just getting in and punching them, mainly in the stomach, because in Taekwondo, you usually couldn't punch to the head. You could sometimes. So, I was punching to the head and the stomach. Now, these tall people, they made a mistake, in that they were not punching me back. They were trying to just back off, in which case I would just keep going at them, right? So if someone gets in on you, and you can't use any of these other tricks to get a kick on them, you're just going to have to punch them. You're going to have to grapple them. You're going to have to clinch them, okay? So, although you're good at kicking, you have to be well-rounded enough to fight at any range, because no one wants to just be useless at a certain range. You want to be pretty good at all of them. You might have a specialty, so that's what I would say. You have all these little tactics to kind of increase your ability to keep a fight where you want it, but at the end of the day, you should prepare to fight at any range, even if you're unable to keep someone far away. So right now in the punching bag, I'm not really doing any of those close range techniques because, I was practicing some kicks, really, so that's what I wanted to practice, but sparring don't work like that. So I would say keep it simple. Here's your techniques to keep someone far away. You have the blitz, keep them far away, right? You have the counter attack, okay? When they move in, try to counter them, push them back. You have the making space, cutting angles, okay? So when they get in close, you failed to push them back, just move off to the side, attack at the same time, try to regroup, okay? Now, if that doesn't work and they still on you, you can try to throw a close range kick. Now, if your close range kicks and stuff aren't getting them back, prepare to fight them at close range, okay? So whoever it is, they've closed in on you. Now you're going to have to deal with them, okay? So you're going to have to block, you're going to have to punch, you're going to have to do that. Now, you can try to work your way back out to range, right? But you're going to have to deal with them in that instant. So that's pretty much it for today. Thank you guys for watching. These are some tips that people have been telling me, like when I'm training and someone suggests this to me after a sparring match. Sometimes they're things that we used to do in Taekwondo school. So this isn't just like me preaching to you. I'm still working on some of these things. Like always. Like in martial arts, you're always working on stuff. So that's about it for some kicking tactics. I mean, there's probably some more advanced ones, like some really niche stuff, but that's like the really basic stuff you can do. And you don't want to have a crazy plan. You want to have something you can remember. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all next time.